They say third time's the charm, and I filmed this video twice. It is the last day of Mercury retrograde shadow period, but I was hoping it wouldn't take this much to get this video done. But let's not waste any more time. Hello, I'm Thando. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be my personal one. We can call it a lifestyle one if that is the right term, because it's going to be a little bit eclectic. I can't decide between Thando's cozy corner, Thando's eclectic corner. It might not be any corners. You're probably going to know, because by the time this video is out, there will be a title at the bottom, so you can tell me. But in the meantime, let me introduce you to myself. I am 28. I am originally from Zimbabwe, but I've spent more of my years in Australia, and I am a citizen in both countries. Just so you know, my credentials. What has inspired me to start this channel is basically my spiritual journey has led me to a place where I need to put myself out there so that I can meet the right people, both for them and myself, to facilitate each other's growth and well-being for the future. That's where I'm at in my life, and I feel like I had a second spiritual awakening in November 2024. Essentially, I could feel something was coming because I had my first vision in September, a few days before my birthday. And I've always considered myself to be claircognizant, but I never really thought about titling myself as clairvoyant. And it wasn't until that vision that I had that I still had to check with my best friend, because she's a psychic, and she confirmed that it was a vision. So I was like, okay, looks like we're going somewhere, we're getting somewhere. And then we talk a lot about cycles and how it's very interesting what energies surround everyone's birthday. And if you're someone who cares enough to look at the patterns, you will realize, for example, my best friend, who I will reference plenty of times, and I will be plugging her everywhere because I am obsessed with her. And if you don't love someone as much as I love her, then what the fuck are you doing? My best friend, around her birthday every year, she feels very introspective. It's a time of year that she doesn't, it's her time to introspect and be by herself. And so every year we do something small and not including a lot of people because she cannot bear it. Whereas for me, every time around my birthday, I am always engaging in something new or something spiritual. For example, I had a year where I went on a spiritual fast in September, and my birthday's on the 30th. I've started like pole classes around my birthday before, starting new workout routines, new like starting meditation and stuff. September is like a month for me where I start new things and I recommit to myself. And so this year was basically exactly that. And September was very busy. October was very busy because it was also the flow on of my birthday. And so I did my solar return in my astrology chart. And also I could feel it from my spiritual team that I was coming into a time of sacred solitude. I would need to pull myself away from other people, maybe not go out as much, to allow myself time for introspection. I could feel that it was coming, and I told everyone. I told people people I work with, I told my friends, I told my family. So October, back-to-back plans, because I'm thinking I just have till the 31st. November comes, I'll have a quiet month, save some money, introspect. But the universe and all my ancestors said, you think you can game us? That's not how that works, love. You don't get to choose. So on the 25th of October, I prepared for a work party, went to dispose of some bins, not bins, went to dispose of some boxes in the bins, and while attempting to flatten boxes to put in the recycling, the box flattened me. I was wearing heels. I just thought I weighed enough. I just looked at myself and I was like, you're a curvy bitch. You've got some weight on you. You can body that box in a second. Nay, nay, my friend. Box bodied me. Classic Thando. Anyway, I thought it wasn't a serious injury at the time. I was wrong. Now, 3 months later, I just got off crutches 2 weeks ago, and it's looking like I'm going to need surgery. So I love that. But nonetheless, I get injured in October. I spend a month and a half not working. Was it a month and a half? Or was it? Yeah. I feel like it was a month and a half. Or maybe it was just a month. One of the two. Maybe it was a month. Long story short, I didn't work for at least 4 weeks. And in that time, it was actually the first week after my injury. Someone said to me how much, a friend asked how much could I pay to teach me about astrology. And from that simple conversation, I realized I'd actually spent a fair bit of 2024 presenting in like unplanned situations and teaching people what I know about astrology, tarot, and the spiritual journey just based off of my own experience. I have known for quite a while that I was supposed to put myself out there more at some point. And I thought I would have done it by now, to be fair. I also realize now why I didn't do it before. I never put myself out there before for a combination of reasons. I was bullied when I was younger for being different, for being African, for being black, for being a nerd, and proud of it, unapologetic about it, actually. Um, and I guess just having weird tastes. And those were things that I stood 10 toes down on, but it doesn't mean that it still didn't hurt that people chose to always point out how different I was to them. And so, yeah, it made me kind of question, if I put myself out there, do I want that level of scrutiny? Do I want that level of criticism? I am a sensitive soul, you know? And then I also realized I didn't put myself out there because I think I was raised by someone who they themselves don't want the spotlight. And I guess through our conversations as a child up until now, it kind of gave me this complex about how if I put myself out there, especially as boldly and confident as I present in real life, like in real life, I am a lot more vivacious, a lot more cheeky than I guess maybe this video, but you'll get to know me over time. And yeah, I just wondered if that was the right thing for someone as sensitive as myself. And I guess that's why it's taken 28 years to get here, because now I feel like I don't care what people think. I mean, I feel like I've always felt that way, but more in person. I think it's the idea of the amount of people that you can reach when you're online as well that kind of plays into it. If you were to see me in my normal habitat, I am what people consider to be popular. I know a lot of people in the places that I frequent. I get to know people's names, I learn them, and I have little jokes with everyone. But because I am spiritual, that sorry about that. Because I am spiritual, I consider myself to be a popular loner in the sense of I do know a lot of people, but the people that I actually consider to be friends are a very small group of people. They know who they are. And if you know me, you know who they are because I love loudly. I'm a Leo Venus. I love loudly and boldly. So I will talk to death about the people that I love, especially my friends. You will get to know my best friend. She is also a psychic. Um, and she is someone I've looked up to since I've met her. I mean, just in general, especially with her gifts, but just in general, she's just a formidable force of nature. And we always mirror each other. So you will also be seeing her channels when she pops up because she also has the same calling, has the same journey, but we're different people and we'll present it differently. And I guess now that I'm older, I've grown an abundance mindset where in the past I would have thought, yeah, but even if people think I'm unique in this country or the people that I'm seeing one on one, in the grand scheme of the world, I am just probably the same as a bunch of other people. So, what does my voice being in the conversation add to it? And that was a lack mentality. And that was poverty. That was a poverty consciousness. It was actually something a few psychics told me I had in my early 20s. They told me I had it bad. And I get it now because I'm older and I don't think like that anymore, especially ever since I would say about mid year last year. Now I think so expansively. I mean, I always have said in my 20s that the world is my oyster, but I think I haven't felt it as much as this point in my life. And I think that's because I've allowed myself to have so many varied experiences, really just dip my toes into anything and everything. I am so eclectic and I enjoy every part of it. And now that I'm older, I want this channel especially to be a place where I can be my eclectic self and talk to you about my hyperfixations and then talk to you about the little things that I dip in and out of in the hopes that I will draw to me people that are similar. I would like this channel to draw eclectic, multi passionate creatives. You know, I want to draw in people that are also spiritual because even though this isn't my spiritual channel, it would be very much unlike me to not always insert it in conversation. So if it's going to bother you that I'm going to talk about my placements, my astrological placements, or this bit of tarot or whatever, then I'm not the person for you because I need to be able to express myself in that way so that I can fully be authentically myself. I feel like the first half of my life, I was very much leaning into my intellectualism. But I was always spiritual. I mean, I guess back then it was religion. I was born into Christianity, like most Zimbabweans. And so that's going to be its own other video of how I went from being religious to being spiritual. But I've always had an inclination for connecting to a higher power. It's just that now, over time, with my spiritual journey, I actually feel the connection. Whereas back then I didn't. And so I went from being religious, I became agnostic, I became spiritual. And in that journey, spirituality has to me allowed me to find myself, understand myself, accept myself, and truly love myself. And a lot of the things that it's done for me is or deprogram me from the things that I learnt from that Christian upbringing that I think wasn't well suited to me personally. But because I have such an expansive worldview now, bringing it back, because I have such an expansive worldview, I feel like one, I can have a YouTube channel and I can be another voice amongst all the other voices, and it's just as valid. Um, I think that we should all try and think a little bit more expansively. And I think when you learn yourself and you understand yourself and you accept yourself and you stop giving in to the voices that tell you that this aspect of yourself is wrong or shameful or not for this crowd or that doesn't match the box this other person put you in, when you stop listening to all of that, it really does feel like the world is your oyster. The level of self-confidence I've gained in my 20s is something I'm super proud of. I am so in love with myself right now in a way that I thought I was at 25, at 20, at 15, and yet it it's deeper. Like the level of intimacy I have with myself now is deeper than anything that I could have dreamt of, and I love it. So I hope that you enjoyed this little intro into me. I can't wait for us to discuss. I've got a list of topics I want to talk about. My worldview. I want you to tell me your worldview. You know, say hi in the comments. Tell me your name, what country you're from. You know, what sparked your interest about this video? Will you come back? Will you subscribe? I guess we'll find out. Until next time.